I have Jake something here with me right now. Impact Wrestling star, soon to be TNA Wrestling star. That's the big
Oh,
news. The past few weeks, Impact Wrestling's rebranding. Everybody's excited about it. It's going to go down officially at Hard to Kill, but uh, I don't know if you feel this way too, but I find myself already doing it. It's a little strange because we already know the name's coming, but
yeah.
do you feel yourself saying like, "Hey, I work for TNA now," or
Yeah, but that was like a thing that we kind of all always said anyways.
okay.
But now I feel the point to like emphasis on oh,
Mm,
it's officially TNA now. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
yeah. You've been with the company for a couple years.
Mhm.
I believe it was two different stints,
Yes.
but obviously it's not as long of a tenure as some of the other people on the roster. How are you feeling? Like, you just kind of alluded to it. You were already calling yourself a TNA star, but how do you feel about getting a chance to go back to that name when you started in Impact Wrestling, but there's so much history with a name like that.
I think that's exactly what it is too, that history to it because I loved being under that Impact umbrella, like that name.
Mm,
But then I mean, you watched that video when they announced that it was called TNA again. Everyone in the back, that was a very genuine, real, like we didn't know what they were about to show. So you saw all of us light up and jump up and scream, and that was just very real. So it was like that, like I said, I liked the Impact umbrella, but the TNA one is even bigger and it just means more. Again, it's that history.
yeah, and on a different note, it is cool to see other talent wanting to come in. I know Will Ospreay a few weeks ago just talked about how much admiration he had for that, and he was a fan growing up.
Yeah.
Wanted a chance to compete for TNA Wrestling. He already did with Impact in the past few weeks. I know he had a really great match at Bound for Glory,
Yeah.
but just announced today as we're recording, he's gonna be at TNA Snake Eyes
Mhm.
the day after Hard to Kill. So does that motivate you anymore? Just seeing a guy like Will Ospreay wanting to come back to, get a chance to compete in TNA?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Just in general, whenever I personally hear like people from other companies or top talent that aren't signed yet, just hearing them talk so highly about TNA and wanting to come in or to come
Mhm.
back or just to be a part of it in any capacity is awesome, especially because like I know that I'm putting my foot down there, like I'm setting a path for myself there. So it's cool that uh, my peers also want that, or people that I look up to in the industry, they want that too.
Do you have a favorite moment from like the old school TNA? Anything come to mind that made you maybe first pay attention to the company?
Um, yeah, I actually got as soon as you asked that, I was like flooded with moments,
Mm,
but I think really it's like the first few times that I even saw TNA was just like by chance. I was just flipping through
mm,
the channels and it popped up. I'm like, what is this? Because wrestling's always been my life, anyways, but I didn't know what I was watching. And you'd go from it was when it was on what HD or no, I don't remember the
H
channel. No,
HD Net
what?
and
Yeah,
then
well,
Fox
it was
Sports.
yeah, Fox Sports. That's what it was, Fox
Mm,
Sports. So it was like I flipped on there and I saw the little ticker tape and I saw I only had 10 minutes and everything was happening so fast. So it was like I
mm,
couldn't look away because I didn't know what was about to happen next. But seeing somebody like AJ Styles and like Petey Williams and guys like that, and then the next match is Abyss and Monty Brown, but it
mm,
was just so maybe it's not a definitive moment, just but those first few times of flipping the channel and just seeing like a completely different world
mm.
was cool.
Today's actually the 18th anniversary of the Elix Skipper cage walk, the
Oh,
Hurricane Rana. So that's
awesome.
been all over my timeline, and I even said like I still can't believe like he
Yeah.
kept his balance and just I don't think if or maybe he could, but I don't know if he could do it 10 times out of 10 maybe.
Uh-huh.
But just that one moment and
Mhm.
it's relived and played 20 years later is just
Yeah.
such a great spot.
I hope that replays for hundreds of years. It's
Mm.
awesome.
One thing I did like when I watched Impact on when the company still did the Twitch deal
Yeah,
was they would play classic moments instead of commercials.
yeah.
And it's like I wouldn't get mad at seeing that one come up. It was like there was some there I was like, all right, maybe mix it up, like play a new one. But
Yeah.
I'll say the Elix Skipper moment and then Steiner Math. I could watch every single week.
Yeah, yeah. Just play those on loop. It's all right.
It's good. So we're getting towards the end of the year. Obviously we're talking not really in a holding pattern, but everybody's like anticipating January 13th. Like that's like the big milestone. How do you finish the year strong?
Well, just for the simple fact that this coming weekend we have like the last showing of Impact, and that for me, that's how I finish strong. Is going out with a bang, right? Like, it's the very last time we will be called Impact Wrestling. So I think that everyone that's going to be there, we're going to try to show out, but we always try to show out. But I think this time will be like a little extra, you know.
Mhm. There's a lot of happiness going into Hard to Kill, but is it a bittersweet feeling? Because I said earlier, you got your start in the company when it
Mhm.
was Impact Wrestling. So for the past several years, you've been an Impact talent. Is there any sort of mixed feelings about it, or is it just kind of
Uh,
like,
you know what? No, actually, like, and usually I'm like, ooh, no change, don't like change, but
mhm,
this is just very, like I said when we first saw that video, it was a very genuine reaction. So it's just been like as soon as everyone found out about the change, including myself, it's just been very positive. So
mhm.
if anything, I'm just happy and excited, and that means all the Impact shirts I have and all the Impact little track suits they got us. That just means I got TNA ones coming on the way. So
And you get to have some fun on the show. You get to beat somebody up.
yeah, yeah, that's absolutely always a plus.
Jason Hotch, I believe, is your opponent.
Yeah, I'm very
So
excited about that too.
a lot of talk about meat lately.
Yeah,
No matter what company you're in, if you're a big guy, I believe Big E's the one that coined it, big meaty men slapping meat.
yeah.
I've heard you referenced as one of those guys that fits that criteria. Is
Uh-huh.
there a big meat matchup that you want, like somebody on the Impact roster, or maybe one of those guys you're talking about that sees TNA coming back and maybe can join the mix after January 13th? Is there I'll call it a Haas fight too, but is
Yeah.
there one of those matchups that you have out there that you want?
There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of like the big Hosses and other popular companies that I would love to mix it up with, but everyone already knows all about them, so I'll go like kind of just straight to the indies. And there's a handful of really good big men that I would love to come into Impact, even even if it was just a one off or anything like that. To again have that big Hoss match. One of them being Kelvin Tankman. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Another one that I think is starting to really show himself is Beef. Have you ever seen Beef?
Hmm.
With a name like Beef, he's got to be in the big meaty matches. So
Hmm.
those are two that are high at the top of my list. I've wrestled them before. You know what? I'm going to throw another one in there. Manders. If you haven't seen Manders, but he's as meaty as they come.
Hmm.
Throws a hell of a lariat.
I I'm very familiar with Tankman's work, Heavyweight
Mhm.
Hustle. I like all three choices there. I mean, and like you said, Beef fits the
Yes.
bill. And I think that's sort of the beauty of what Impact does and indies in general, because I discovered your work through I believe it was AAW first.
Hmm.
And then I kind of, you know, followed you on a more weekly basis because you joined Impact when you were doing the stuff with Cody, with Diener.
Yeah.
But how has sort of being able to have a platform like Impact and still build your name throughout the indies? Because I know you've done some work with Wrestling Revolver too. So
Yeah.
how has that been able to sort of not only build your confidence, but give you some valuable in-ring time and just being able to build your name?
I love it actually. It's always a thing of like the further you go, like I mean, probably in anything, but in wrestling, like you have to like start narrowing things down. So it's like eventually, I know a lot of guys get to a point where they don't really mess with the indies that much, if at all. But I love that I still can, and I love that I'm still building it almost on two different lanes. And it's just cool to see the effect that Impact and soon to be known as TNA again has on even just like indies, right? Because
Mhm.
there's been times recently, and I'm sure more to come, where I'll go to a town for the first time, and I'm wondering like if they'll know me or if they'll react or whatever. But and it's cool to see that they do. Like
Mhm.
well, I just wrestled for Revolver in Iowa over the weekend, and I've never wrestled there before. The closest I've probably wrestled there is I don't know Chicago or St. Louis, and I think they're both around 5 hours away, which 5 hours isn't close. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and yell, "What's my name?" and it could be crickets, you know. But that wasn't the case, so it's really cool to see. So it's cool to see how they feed off each other, or fans coming up to me, if I'm selling merch at those shows and either saying they love my work on Impact, or if I'm at an Impact show, they'll be like, "Oh wait, I saw you at AAW," and things like that are cool, and how they, I guess, like help each other grow, right? They like feed off each
Yeah.
other.
I usually do a watch list feature. I try to get
Uh-huh.
match picks. Is there one in your career, whether it's in Impact Wrestling or on the Indies, as you just talked about?
Uh-huh.
Is there one that you would sit people down and say, "Here's like a definitive Jake something match. Here's what I try. Here's what I try to give fans every time I step in the ring."
Yeah, if I could just do three, there's me and Trey Miguel from Sacrifice for Impact. It was actually my
Mhm.
last showing on my first run with Impact. Um, Take your pick of a match with me and Josh Alexander, but I think that the one people know the most is him and I, also at Impact Emergence, I think 2 years ago. And then I've had a bunch of matches with Myron Reed,
Mhm.
and I love all of them. But the most recent one that I really love is from a promotion called DPW.
Mhm.
Uh, if you're able to find Jake Something versus Myron Reed at DPW, I think that is a very definitive Jake Something match.
It's Deadlock Pro.
Yes,
Okay, cool. All right, so three very good choices. It's been great getting a chance to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing what you do in TNA wrestling.
me
Thanks for your
too.
time, man. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.